Bhajanlal Sharma will be the new Chief Minister of Rajasthan. Another surprise announcement that nobody could have guessed. I'm Barkha Dutt, you're with the Mojo story. We now have three chief ministers in place in Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, and Rajasthan. And the decisions taken by the Modi Shah BJP have officially ended, if that was still something remaining to happen, officially ended the Atal Bihari Vajpayee-Advani era in the BJP. Perhaps Shivraj Singh Chouhan and Vasundhara Raje Scindia were the last remaining significant BJP leaders from that time, from that generation. Shivraj Singh Chouhan was bid a tearful adieu by many of his supporters, many of them women. In Rajasthan, there were dramatic images as Vasundhara Raje Scindia sat in the middle stoically of many BJP MLAs and later was handed a little parchi. At the end, the announcement that came with Rajnath Singh present was that of Bhajanlal Sharma as the chief minister. The BJP is full of surprises, but there could be strategic thinking behind these decisions, especially with the caste calculus in mind. We see a tribal chief minister in Chhattisgarh, an OBC chief minister in Madhya Pradesh, and a Brahmin chief minister in Rajasthan, with several strategies applied to the choice of deputies in all of these states as well. To understand both the politics and the strategy behind the choice of chief ministers and also the end of the road, it looks like that anyway, for Shivraj Singh Chouhan and Vasundhara Raje Scindia, easily the tallest leaders of the BJP in their respective states. Let's introduce our panel on the program today. Joining us from the BJP is senior leader Gopal Krishan Agarwal. Namaskar, Gopalji. Always a pleasure. Joining us from the Congress is Arshdeep Khadial. Welcome to the program, sir. Also joining us is Rashid Kidwai, veteran journalist and author. Tavleen Singh, columnist and author, is with us. And I can see Yashwant Deshmukh fiddling there with his electricity, but just in time. There he is with us. Actually, the BJP has some electrifying decisions, so maybe they've caused some cross currents with your connection. Thank you very much, all of you. I want to start with first comments, and then we'll play out some of the statements that we're getting from Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. Gopalji, मुझे सच बताइए. Did you expect these choices? Did you expect these choices, or were you also as taken by surprise as the rest of us were?
We have to understand that the surprise element is definitely there as far as the name is concerned. But the process, if you go into the process, Barkhaji, you also were talking about that process, that is very clear, and that because of that, we are not surprised about the actual name, because we are not speculating on the actual name at any point of time at the party level. One thing I would like to make it clear that the decision making by the parliamentary board is very clear, and the thing is, but they are not taking arbitrary decision. We have to understand the surprise element with the media and other people is because they are not grasping the decision making is in BJP at present extremely systematic and democratic, where it takes into account the aspirations of the MLAs, the aspirations of the people, the various context about the caste and everything, and all these factors together, where they meet and reconcile, that is being done at a very systematic way. So the surprise element for us is not there. With the media and everything, yesterday also there was a big surprise. This is a bit how Mohan Yadav ji has come into foreplay, but these are all not new faces. For us, I was working in Rajasthan. Bhajanlal ji was there with me working on the ground. We were sitting for whole days for deciding about the strategy meeting. So, and I know him for several years. So we know even those people, they are actively involved in the organization. And it is the myth about certain names only representing BJP or they will have every say. That myth is surely being broken with these decisions. The organization, the people who have contributed to strengthening the party, the process of democracy, internal democracy, taking aspirations of the people and aspiration of the MLAs, etc., is very much considered in the decision making. And the thing is nobody is invincible in the party. That is also important. So all these are important in a democratic setup, and I think this is the way the BJP is giving the successful result. And I think these decisions will energize the workers, the people who have been backroom workers for years and years,
You
and
you
they
you you made a very interesting comment, Gopalji, and then I'll open it up after that. You said nobody in the BJP is invincible. Fair enough, and nobody is indispensable. Fair enough. But do you think Shivraj Singh Chouhan in particular deserved this? You know, you would have seen the images today. Women were crying. उन्होंने कहा मैं विदाई ले रहा हूँ, and we have those images. औरतें रो रही थी. Or he conducted himself with utmost dignity in this moment of losing power in a dramatic win for the BJP, even after so many years of incumbency. Some might ask, did Shivraj Singh Chouhan deserve this moment? उस पे आप क्या कहेंगे, गोपाल जी?
ये देखिए बरखा जी, आपको एक चीज सोचनी पड़ेगी, बीजेपी इज a very large party. We have around 20 crore members, and it's organizationally, it is a very big organization, and our organization is so much structured that to the level of Shakti Kendra, booth level, there is a big organization who have put lot of years in the organization, and they all have aspiration. In political parties, people have aspiration to participate in the power structure. And how do you keep track, involve the aspirations and include the aspirations of the all people? If you will continue with the same, it is, I'm not saying that Shivraj Singh Chauhan or X person or Y person is not our senior leader. We respect him. We know his contribution. We know his effort in these elections. The way he has contributed a lot in addition to what the Prime Minister is the ultimate leader, but Shivraj Singh Chauhan and everybody from top to border, from the central to the state to the booth level, party workers have contributed in the success of the party. So there has to be a different people who should get a chance. And not only this, if you look into the whole Parivar, Barkaji, almost 25 organizations of our Parivar have been actively working for more than 100 years. And there are hundreds and thousands and lakhs of workers who have dedicatedly put their whole life and effort in making this organization and ideology successful and come forward. So how will you give them the share in the power? How will you give them more chance? How the workers will develop if the same person is continuing in the same post every time? So it is for the development of the individual also. I say many times
Okay.
that individual also benefit if he gets different responsibilities. And
Okay,
if
let me open that. Let me open.
also develop. So I
Let me
think
open.
it's strengthening of the organization, keeping the aspiration of the people in the mind, keeping the aspiration and wish of the MLAs into mind, and that is the way the decisions are being taken, and therefore these are the right decisions, and there is no surprise element. Surprise element may be in the name, but no surprise
Yes.
element in the decision making process.
Okay, that's a very, very interesting formulation. And I want to just bring in Tavleen, and then I'll come to Mr. Khadial of the Congress Party. Tavleen, Vasundhara Raje in particular is somebody you have known, followed for many, many years. At this moment, what do you think she might be thinking? And of course, she had no choice, just as Shivraj Singh Chauhan had no choice. And, when you look at this, do you see this as a ruthless BJP machinery, or do you see this as a smart, agile BJP machinery, or might both be true?
Look, I actually take a different view on this. I believe that there should be no more than 2 terms for any chief minister, because there's an element of entitlement that comes with it, which, leads to all kinds of bad things happening. So Vasu's done 2 terms, Shivraj Singh Chauhan's done 3 or whatever. And I think that it's a really good thing that people who are working at lower levels, who are unknown faces, and who are younger, these are much older leaders. They've done what they could. They've made their contributions. And I really believe it's a good thing for unknown faces to be brought up who are younger, who, it'll strengthen their capacity to win the Lok Sabha election. This is my view.
So let me bring in Mr. Karyal of the Congress Party. The opposition was very keen to know who the chief ministers would be. Now we have three new chief ministers. How do you see it?
I like to start with a fellow panelist, the senior journalist. She said there shouldn't be any more than 2 terms for chief ministers. Well, why just for CM faces? That logic should also apply for the PM face. And therefore,
Yes.
the Bharatiya Janata Party should now announce that Mr. Modi is not going to be the PM face when we contest the 2024 elections. Number 2, why was Vasundhara Raje
Better
not
that we
picked?
talk
One
about
second,
the
please
Congress
do not
strategy.
interrupt me. I have just started.
But Mr. Karyal, that's wishful thinking. Surely you're not making a serious point.
One
there.
second.
It's wishful.
No,
Okay.
it's a serious point. She's a very seasoned journalist. She made a very good point.
Okay.
Otherwise, there's a sense of entitlement. Otherwise, you become
Okay.
bigger than the party. And if that's the logic, that should apply to everybody equally. And the Bharatiya Janata Party should welcome it. Number 2. Now, I really want to know the reason as to why Miss Vasundhara Raje was not chosen as the chief minister. Was the reason the resort politics that took place, as ANI had reported, that 5 MLAs were taken to Apno Rajasthan resort, and the former state vice president of the BJP, his son was also there, who was an MLA. When he went there to collect his son, he was told that he would have to take permission from Vasundhara Rajeji's son, who's there in the resort. And that came out. And Ms. Raje also sought time from the Prime Minister. Did the Prime Minister give her the time to even meet after she had won the Rajasthan elections for him? Please tell us that as well, and the reason as to why she was not chosen. Number 2, as far as the change of team goes, Mr. Vajpayee's chosen leaders, handpicked leaders, have now been removed. There's a new choice of leaders that have come up. And of course, the Bharatiya Janata Party does not choose from within. The Bharatiya Janata Party chooses from the top. And the gentleman from the BJP is saying that, the workers have worked really hard. They need to be rewarded. The MLAs have worked really hard. They need to be rewarded. Well, if so, you should have asked them who their CM face should be. This is the Bharatiya Janata Party has this trend. The decision never comes from within the party. It comes from top of the party, from the high command. And that too from one individual. Number 2, the change of leaders that has happened is because they want to change the leaders so that the loyalty could lie with them. Their allegiance could lie with them. And that's why from Mr. Vajpayee's leaders, they have come to a different set of leaders. Number 2, last point. The Bharatiya Janata Party's confusion, indecision, infighting, everything is out in the open. And I'll tell you why, Barkha. It's been around 7 days since the decision came out. And in Telangana, we formed government. And within days, the oath-taking ceremony happened, the swearing-in ceremony happened, everything happened, the CM was decided. However, 10 to 12 MPs of the Bharatiya Janata Party had resigned, become MLAs in the hopes of becoming the chief minister. Their dreams have also been shattered. So the Bharatiya Janata Party has disappointed a lot of their own leaders. And we still don't know the reason as to why it has happened. So the question
Congress
that
should
I've
be
asked,
happy if you are taking wrong decisions.
I think Gopalji wanted to come in.
No, it's
Gopalji?
simply if all the wrong decisions are being taken by the BJP, the Congress should be happy.
I never said wrong. I said disappointing for your leaders. That's what I said.
No, but ultimately, whom do you satisfy? It is the people. In democracy, who is the ultimate? Whom you are accountable? It is the people. If the people are accepting what the decision is being taken, it is for. That's what we are doing.
Okay.
We are not
Okay,
there to only satisfy our workers alone and some leaders. That's what
let me bring in the others.
Tavleen,
very briefly.
People's wish that we are fulfilling.
I need to go to Yashwant and Rashid, but Tavleen, very briefly, the point, entitlement, why doesn't it apply to the top job? The BJP wouldn't accept that, but you seem to be agreeing with that thought.
I think that it should be like the American system, because we've moved into a very presidential kind of campaign. And I think 2 terms is good. And if Mr. Modi has any grace, he should allow somebody else, follow the same principle. I would suggest it to him. I'm suggesting it on your show. I think that he should give somebody else a chance and then, contest again later if he wants to. I think 2 terms is more than enough for any chief minister or prime minister.
No, but
Okay, but I
just brief one question.
okay.
Ultimately, in the political setup, who are you accountable? If the people want some person to be its prime minister, who are we to change that? So,
Okay, hang on,
ultimately,
hang on.
whom are you accountable? In
Okay.
democracy, it is the people's wish. It is for us, the structure only identifies the people's wish and we implement. That's important. We have to understand that in democracy, the accountability to the people,
Can,
their wish
can I
has to be analyzed, and that
Okay,
wish
can I
is
can I can I can I bring in? I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I really want to bring in Yashwant at this point. Tavleen, maybe you could respond later. Yashwant, there is a political paradox here. When you were doing your opinion polls, you identified Vasundhara Raje and Shivraj Singh Chouhan, not so much Raman Singh, but Vasundhara Raje and Shivraj Singh Chouhan is the most popular choices for chief minister, right? They have not become chief minister, and they have had to basically accept it's going to be called the decision of the MLAs, but it's clearly the decision of the party high command. What do you see? Do you think that pollsters like you will have to reimagine, in a way, your surveys, given how the BJP decision making takes place?
Well, yes and no, Barkha. Honestly speaking, in public perception, the names that come up verbatim are the one which have been around and given a charge, and that's how the name gets in. So, say for example, 20 years back, in our numbers, Vasundhara Raje's name or Shivraj Singh Chauhan's name or Raman Singh's name was not there. It was only after when they became the chief minister, they performed or whatever. I mean, in that way, that is how the top of the mind recall that starts pouring in. Having said that, I I I I tend to agree with some of the points with all of the research so said so far. So largely speaking, the rude argument on behalf of the BJP would be rude argument, I would say, if they wish to, that don't ask us why we are spending this. We are spending because we can spend. It is that kind of argument. Okay, we have got enough MLAs, we have got enough leadership material with us, we have an organization kind of thing which gives us the strength at the grassroots level. And if you go by their argument of that every BJP star that we know of, Barkha, at some point of time, the fact remains that the RSS or the BJP as an organization did pull them up, put them into their stardom caste, because before the organization did it for them, they were unknown people outside their own constituency, maybe, in that way. When Atal Bihari Vajpayee won from Vidisha and Lucknow both in the Lok Sabha election, and he opted out of Vidisha, at that point of time, Shivraj Singh Chauhan got a bypoll nomination to fill that seat. Before that, outside that sphere, outside Madhya Pradesh, nobody knew him in that way. I mean, for that matter, even when Uma Bharti was the most popular person at that point of time, her popularity and Shivraj Singh Chauhan was nowhere near to be marked. So, I mean, due credit in a way that this two states certainly make sense to me. Third one is today's one was kind of, as I said, that not just process wise, but name wise, it was a surprise as well. Earlier two were processionally speaking, they were clear in that from the process point of view that they wanted to pick up a organizational person, long-term organizational person. The Chhattisgarh chief minister designate and the Madhya Pradesh chief minister designate, they were old timers. They are not the new timers as say. They had their things carved out. They were not first time MLAs. Today's decision was pretty much like the Gujarat decision. And the Gujarat decision, even after putting up the first time MLA as the chief minister in their style, they went on to rob home with another election with that person in place. So for them, the organization is supreme. I guess that what is happening here, that many people will end up kind of analyzing the current process of BJP's chief minister speaking with what Indira ji used to do in the 60s and 70s, you know. But there is a fundamental difference, even though the parallels are pretty unique and everybody to see it. But there is a fundamental difference that when Mrs. Gandhi used to pick and choose, I remember there was one very brilliant cartoon, uh, probably by Uni, or I don't remember. Maybe Tavleen, you might be remembering that as well, where Mrs. Indira Gandhi was coming down from the aircraft, and there was set of the people standing over there with garlands and everything, and she's pointing, and you will be the next chief minister. What is your name? I remember that was a cartoon, and that was a brilliant cartoon. There would be many parallels that will be drawn with that cartoon, but there is one fundamental difference, that Mrs. Gandhi was taking decisions as an individual. While in this case, no matter how centralized the BJP looks right now, the decision is pretty much organizational. That's a very, very fundamental difference. Mr. Modi is lucky to have a pool of those kind of leaders where he can pick and choose from. But that pool is provided by the organization. There is no individual pool to start with. That's a big difference.
I think that's a very important point. And I just want to bring in Rashid, and then we need to play some clips actually from all the developments today. Rashid, Madhya Pradesh, your home state, Rajasthan, as Yashwant said, a surprise name. Gopal Agarwal makes the very important point. The name may surprise you, the thinking should not. Do you see a very clear thinking, whether the caste calculus or something else, which is basically ending a kind of old generation of leaders, building a new leadership?
Barkha, nothing of this sort at all. See, while the BJP is within its rights to go for any MLA that chooses to be to chief minister of state, it defies all kind of logic, the parliamentary conventions. See, to bring this element of entitlement, I find it very disturbing. I think every elected MLA is a potential chief minister, or for the matter, every elected member of parliament is a potential parliamentarian. But in parliamentary in Westminster model of parliamentary democracy, the importance is accorded in terms of their kind of winnability, their stature within the organization, their experience in public life, in terms of again winning elections, etc. And there are a host of practical problems are there. For instance, in Madhya Pradesh, there are at least 12, 13, 14 ministers, outgoing ministers of Shivraj cabinet who have more seniority than Dr. Mohan Yadav. So will Mohan Yadav draft them? What will be this thing? And organizations have to look in 5 year, 10 years kind of period. How will it shape up? So it's going to create, it's a mind-boggling thing. It is there that there is a lot of respect and fear, a combination of the two that may prevent even the whispers or rumors to get out of their respective party offices, etc. in the 3 states. But that means, see, that a lot of people make investment. Barkha, I don't want to get into the too much of details. The kind of money that gets into in fighting elections, the kind of funding that takes place, the kind of backers that individuals have, what happens to the entire ecosystem? So this is going to create problems sooner than later, and exactly that's what had happened during Indira Gandhi and Rajiv Gandhi's time, when they used to play musical chair with the chief ministers, and they paid a price, heavy price, because if a building has it's flawed structurally, then it's going to collapse one day. I know this will not please my friend Mr. Gopal Agarwal, but this is the basis of it. I would say the same thing about Congress Party, Aam Aadmi Party, or any other political party. It's not specific to BJP. You can't defy fundamentals and claim it to be a master stroke.
Okay, so this is a very different perspective. As Yashwant said, the rude answer from the BJP would be, we're doing it because we can, and none of your old theories apply. But Rashid is applying old classic political logic and saying this defies that logic, and sooner or later he believes it will catch up with the BJP. I want to play out 2 clips and then I'll come back to Gopalji. Rajnath Singh, this is the moment when he announces the name. Vasundhara Raje Scindia is right there, a completely opaque expression on her face. You cannot read it. The other thing we haven't spoken about is that there's another erstwhile royal, Diya Kumari, who's been pulled in as the deputy, female and royal. So that's really, in a way, what Vasundhara's turf used to be. So there are many very, very cold messages being sent here to Shivraj and Vasundhara, or maybe they'll come to Delhi. There is even talk that Shivraj Singh Chouhan could be the BJP president. We have no idea. Let's acknowledge we have no idea, because none of us would have guessed these names for chief ministers. Let's first listen to Rajnath Singh as he announces the name of the new Rajasthan chief minister.
आज राजस्थान भारतीय जनता पार्टी विधायक दल की बैठक हुई। विधायक दल की बैठक इसलिए आमंत्रित की गई थी ताकि विधायक दल के नेता का निर्वाचन हो सके। बैठक में एक प्रस्ताव राजस्थान प्रदेश की पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री, भारतीय जनता पार्टी के राष्ट्रीय उपाध्यक्ष श्रीमती वसुंधरा राजे के द्वारा श्री भजनलाल शर्मा का नाम प्रस्तावित किया गया और सर्वसम्मत से सभी ने इनका समर्थन किया है। और विशेष रूप से इनके नाम का समर्थन प्रारंभ में जिन लोगों ने किया, श्री किरोड़ी लाल जी मीणा, श्री वासुदेव जी देवनानी, श्री मदन दिलावर, श्री जवाहर वेडम जी और श्री जाबर सिंह जी, इन सब सारे लोगों ने और इसके अतिरिक्त पूरे सदन ने श्री भजनलाल जी शर्मा के नाम का समर्थन हुआ। इसलिए मैंने घोषणा की कि श्री भजनलाल जी शर्मा राजस्थान भारतीय जनता पार्टी विधायक दल के सर्वसम्मत नेता निर्वाचित हुए। और मैं आश्वस्त हूं कि श्री भजनलाल जी शर्मा के नेतृत्व में यह राजस्थान तेजी के साथ प्रगति के पथ पर आगे बढ़ेगा। सभी कार्यकर्ताओं ने श्री भजनलाल जी शर्मा को अपनी हार्दिक बधाई दी है। और इसके अतिरिक्त मैं आपको जानकारी देना चाहता हूं, भजनलाल जी शर्मा जी से भी बातचीत हुई है। 2 उप मुख्यमंत्री होंगे, श्रीमती दिया सिंह और दूसरे श्री प्रेम चंद बैरवा। और
Okay, that was the Rajasthan announcement, but one very other important statement that we must pay attention to is Shivraj Singh Chouhan today saying, "मैं मर जाऊंगा, लेकिन मैं दिल्ली जाके अपने लिए कुछ नहीं मांगूंगा." This is as dramatic as you can get from Shivraj Singh Chouhan. Do listen it.
मैंने उस दिन, जब आपको ध्यान होगा, जो संदर्भ था वो ये था कि बाकी दिल्ली में है, आप दिल्ली जाएंगे क्या। एक बात मैं बड़ी विनम्रता के साथ कहता हूं कि अपने लिए कुछ मांगने जाने से बेहतर मैं मरना समझूंगा, वो मेरा काम नहीं है। और इसलिए मैंने कहा था मैं दिल्ली नहीं जाऊंगा।
Now, Gopalji, that is a very dramatic statement, and if one read between the lines, you would imagine that Mamaji is quite upset. आप क्या कहेंगे, Gopalji? 1 minute, Gopalji. Let me unmute you. Go ahead. Yeah.
देखिए बरखा जी, एक चीज हमें समझनी पड़ेगी कि when you run an organization of the size which is BJP and the whole parivar, you have to understand that individuals doesn't matter in the whole structure. If you individuals, there is BJP. I have been working in since the childhood. I know all the organizations. It is the collective leadership, and at times people may say that it is for individual. It may be a ruthless decision. For individual, it may not be good. But in the interest of the organization, in the interest of the whole structure, in the interest of aspirations of all people, there is no other in the political setup or in our organization. There is no financial considerations in the working. So you have to understand that aspirations and of individuals is also very important to take, and it is for all. I have told you the basic working structure is that everybody individual gets different responsibilities, and everybody will get some responsibility at any point of time depending upon his capabilities, and that is the way organization also progresses. Otherwise, organizations like this big size are not going to flourish. So it is
Okay.
in the interest, yeah, organization. Individuals are taking care, they are taken care, but that entitlement or individual only is their own wishes, etc., will be considered. It is considered, but it will not be the only deciding factors.
Got it.
So
I want
you
to
have
bring in
to
Yashwant.
understand. Otherwise, we will always go in round and round. Keep
I understand.
why this happened. This is the basic thing that I wanted to convey.
Okay, Yashwant Deshmukh, when I wanted to clarify the question I asked you, what I meant was, will you change how you look at politics? Was the BJP, we, at least as journalists, do not understand the BJP. I think it's time to say that. And it doesn't really matter whether which side of the ideological divide in the media you're perceived to be. Nobody knew who these chief ministers were going to be. So that's one thing that shifted. You simply cannot today read the BJP top leadership's mind. I think we have to concede that. What does that do to our understanding then, intuitive understanding of politics? Because whatever we believe instinctively, the BJP eventually decides something quite different. Secondly, Gopalji makes a very important point that there is a thinking that should not surprise you, even if the names do. Do you see that pattern emerge in the thinking? The obvious is the caste configuration.
Well, that's pretty much I agree on. That it's a thought process, or it's a process of the way they organize themselves, or the way they look for the future, the way they try to weave that social fabric in their vision. That process has been very clear. That process is always there. In fact, I was kind of wondering on particularly the choice of the chief ministers, or deputy chief ministers, even when erstwhile Bharati Jansangh was not very big force. Still, at that point of time, if you look into the faces that BJP tried to project, their earliest champions were not really upper caste in the way that BJP was termed as an upper caste party. So I also remember very very good conversation with my father, actually, when in the mid-90s the BJP had supported Mayawati to become the chief minister, and at that point of time in 2007, when Brahmins voted en bloc to Mayawati, I quizzed my dad in fun, in that, he was an old RSS guy. I said that, mid-90s, you guys were very happy, projecting this lady. And today, your core vote bank Brahmins have gone to her and leaving BJP to shambles. And he quipped in a very, very interesting way that, don't underestimate the organizational thing in a long way. The door which has been broken today is a much bigger door, because Brahmins voting for a Dalit chief minister is much bigger thing than Dalits voting for a Brahmin chief minister at some point of time. So you feel that the door has been broken and it's a one-way traffic. It's not going to be a one-way traffic. And exactly 7 years later, in 2014, and I genuinely believe that 14 and 19 mandates came because the Dalits started voting for the BJP, not because of any other in that way. OBCs, yes, OBCs have been given more than fair share of their limelight in the media, but BJP has had big number of OBC leaders. Kalyan Singh was OBC for that matter. I mean, their biggest chief ministerial face in all times in that way. So what I'm simply trying to say, what they do, they try to structure and they try to map in an organizational way. This is how we have to proceed. The process is very clear. However, the names or the faces which have been picked up of late, some of the faces, they have been kind of surprising, because as I mentioned, if a Chhattisgarh CM, the new face in Chhattisgarh CM, has 3 generations history of working with the RSS, Vanvasi Kalyan Ashram, and that kind of structure, and he himself has gone through that, 4 times MP, 2 times MLA, and like that. Same goes with the guy getting selected for Madhya Pradesh. However, today's choice kind of surprising, as if it is to rub it in that it's organization's victory. Organization can decide whomsoever to be made the chief ministers, and in
It's
some
shown,
way,
it's
yeah,
shown
the,
them
the
their place.
organization was pretty much the center in some ways. Today's decision, it seems like,
Absolutely,
but
absolutely.
interesting.
That's an understatement. Before I give Tavleen the last word, I just want to play out another very telling clip of Shivraj Singh Chouhan. The women who were bidding him farewell, they were weeping. And we've spoken a lot about the female vote. So just let's take a look at that, and I'll give Tavleen the last word.
आप सबके चाहते हो और बहन की हर मध्य प्रदेश में एक एक बैठ के चाहते हो आप। हम आपको नहीं छोड़ेंगे।
मैं भी कहाँ जा रहा हूँ, मैं भी नहीं छोड़ूंगा।
हम आपको नहीं
छोड़ने का
वो वाली बात नहीं है, लेकिन बात जी है कि आपने इतनी मेहनत की और हमने आपके लिए, बहनों ने आपको चुना है, आपको वोट दिया था भैया। मध्य प्रदेश
The women are saying, Tavleen, हमने आपको चुना था, हमने आपको वोट दिया था. Do you agree with Rashid Kidwai when he says that sooner or later this will catch up with the BJP? I personally think as long as Modi remains the biggest massacre that the BJP has, the rude answer, as Yashwant called it from the BJP, will be, you all can continue with your theories. We'll do what we need to. We'll do what we think is right.
Yeah, I don't agree with Rashid actually, because I think that he's forgotten that there's the Sangh Parivar behind the BJP. The men have been chosen who have worked with the Sangh Parivar. And the Sangh Parivar has made it clear, whether you like it or not, that they don't like individuals getting too big for their boots. They cannot pull Narendra Modi down because Narendra Modi is the people's choice, but they would if they could. So, and I'm sick and tired of entitlement in politics. I really think that we should have a much more democratic system. I don't think these are bad decisions. Let's see what happens.
Very interesting, because I was just saying, you said the Sangh Parivar doesn't like the cult of personality, but Modi is the message in the BJP.
Yeah, well, he's got a bit bigger than the Sangh Parivar for a while, right?
Yes,
but he comes from there. He understands their philosophy. He's one of them, right? But I'm sure that they're not too happy that he has got so big. But, I think that he should graciously, if he wins the third term, somewhere along the line concede and give it to somebody else.
Okay, I can't help but, placing that tantalizing possibility before Yashwant. I don't think any of us, including Tavleen, believes that would happen. Nobody walks away from power. Nobody. Is just yeah, we're just, it's a happy, we can speculate. It's a good theory.
Nobody does. But one thing is Barkha sure, that nobody walks away from power, that is for sure. But one thing with Narendra Modi has consistently done and shown to all of us, that he has defied anything and everything that we thought he would do or he would not do so far. And when I talk to some of the really senior RSS people, somehow, they have this inherent trust that he is a pracharak, he knows what is to be done. That inherent trust that, as Tavleen said, that he is one of them. He's coming from there. He knows what it's. So they are giving that kind of long thread because they know that it's electoral politics. In the electoral politics, you need the face to pull up the votes. And after all, I remember, at one point of time, somebody said, कि हम सरकार चला रहे हैं, हम आश्रम नहीं चला रहे हैं. It's like we have to win first in order to. If you do not win, 370 would not go. If you do not win, Ram Temple winner. If you do not win, UCC, these things do not happen unless you win. And if you have to win, then you have to go through that structure, the way the electoral politics works. But having said that, I agree, nobody walks away from the power. But something, I don't know why, I somehow feel like Mr. Modi is going to surprise even on that front. I don't know. Because everybody is saying that he will not do it, he might just do it. Surprise.
Tavleen, you wanted to add something there?
No, I agree. I mean, I wouldn't put anything past him, to tell you the truth. But as I said, 2 terms. We should actually start thinking in terms of 2 terms.
Well, I think the one thing we have to acknowledge is that the BJP under Prime Minister Modi has upended all our assumptions, all our expectations. There's almost seems to be a contrarian spirit that keeps the BJP going under Narendra Modi and Shah. And I think Yashwant is right. The more you say something will happen, it won't. And the more you say something won't happen, it can't happen, it does. So let's see what happens here. Interesting is the understatement word of the day, Yashwant. I think we would not have even known some of these names that have become chief ministers. We have to acknowledge our own limitation from our perch in Delhi, that we don't really understand politics deeply. I think from not you, Yashwant, I mean myself. You, of course, do a deep dive into politics as a profession. I only mean myself. But thank you so much, Tavleen and Yashwant. Always a pleasure. And earlier to Gopalji, to Rashid, and to Mr. Khadiyal. Thank you for joining us and to our audience. Thank you as ever, and see you soon.
Thank you.
Mojo Story has always made a commitment to its viewers to go to where the story is. And as you can see here, we are at the epicenter of the Israel war on Gaza. We are right at the front line, about 1 mile from the Gaza Strip, as the Israeli military gets ready with its tanks and its gunners to begin its final frontal assault that will take troops into Gaza. As we said, we are not like other organizations. We believe in giving you all sides of the story objectively and as much as possible from the ground. And that's exactly what we're doing here, covering the biggest global story today from the epicenter of the war zone. So please, we need your support. Support us, become a Mojo member, subscribe to us, spread the word, and thank you for your support.